Welcome to Two Guys in a Podcast. I'm Tom, and Mike is on assignment. I'm flying solo tonight with a special show. I'm going to be putting together a gaming PC. Exciting. So stand by while I get after it.
Shut up and sit down.
All right. I'm back. We're back. However you want to say it. I will be putting together a gaming PC tonight. First time I've ever tried to do anything like this. Watched a lot of videos on YouTube on how to do it, so hopefully I don't screw it up. So here we go. I'm going to roll out the components I'm going to use, and then we'll get after it. Okay, so I'm out in the living room of my man cave. First, we usually film in Mike's. My man cave is very, very messy right now. Over here, this is my big TV that is usually up on this thing is on the floor because we hung a sheet right here the other night and used a projector to watch a movie and blah 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 blah. So anyway, this is my man cave here. Usually I have a poker table down here that we can play poker at. Got the full kitchen and everything going on over here with a lot of stuff in the way. Eventually want to build a bar and everything else. So anyway, none of that's important. My office back there where I filmed that intro a minute ago. And now here we go with the components of my build. So 1000 watt gold rated Seasonic Focus Gold power supply, fully modular power supply. What is down here? This is the H100i Pro RGB cooler. I got this one because of the size of my case. This one will fit in the top ventilation for my case rather nicely. Have Samsung 970 EVO NVMe M.2 1 terabyte SSD. In this box is a conventional hard drive, 4 terabyte hard drive in this box, 3.5 inch. This is a box or one case of my RAM. As of filming this, I'm waiting for the other two to come. I will have 32 gig total in the computer. That's just 16 right there. I got an exhaust fan for the back of the case that will connect. It's Corsair. It'll connect nicely with the RGB fan control unit in the case. We'll get to that later. We've got our Core i7 unlocked Intel 9700K processor. I went with the i7 just for a cost thing, really. And upgrading my 10-year-old computer and i7 is going to feel like lightning speed anyway. So the ROG, right? Republic of Gamers. I don't know how to say that. Strike. However, Z390E gaming motherboard. I gotta be honest, I'm hoping that fits in my case. From the reviews I was reading and things on the case, it should fit. So we'll see. And then I got the 1080, the big boy here, the 1080 Ti EVGA GeForce RTX Black version graphics card. So yeah, there we go. And then my case. My case is a Corsair 570X Crystal Series. Lots of tempered glass, pretty much all the way around the whole thing, actually, except the back panel. Everything else is paneled glass all the way around with filters and fans and all that jazz. So there you go on that. And I got my screwdriver. All the little videos I watched online said, let me block that light. They all said you need a screwdriver, and that's it. And then boom, you can build a computer. Little screwdriver, you're good. You're done. You're golden. So there you go with the components. I'm going to be unboxing these What the hell? I'm going to be unboxing these and trying to figure this out. Wish me luck. Update you in a second. Okay, what we're going to be doing now is opening the case. I just want to get the case out of the box and make sure that's all good to go. This case cost, I think on Newegg it cost $159 and it had a $20 mail-in rebate with it. So all in all, not a bad deal for a good tempered glass case. Get this out of here. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's upside down. So we can do an unveil here. I think it's upside down. Now it's right, I think. There we go. This one go out. All right, let's take a look at this. So here's the case. Here's the front of it. Has 3 fans built in on the front. Again, tempered glass all the way around except the back. Here's the controls up at the top. We'll get into more of this later. Nice piece up top with filter, with a filter screen for the fans. Spot for a fan in the back here. Here's where the motherboard connections will go. The slots here, the power supply, and then this will be the visual side of the box where we'll be able to see everything in there. So there you go. There's the unveil of the case. And we will go from there on some other components. Okay, back at you with another unbox here. My wife has graciously let me borrow her yoga mat for a nice soft rubber thing here. Avoid any static electricity or hard surfaces for the components to sit on. Motherboard unboxing here. Again, this is the Asus ROG Strict Z390E gaming motherboard. If you want to know a whole lot about this, feel free to Google it or YouTube it. I know enough that I clicked buy it. So, we'll bring this over. There'll be a lot of editing in this video, but here we go with the inside of the box. So we got, feels like some cables in there maybe. Here's the motherboard. The manual, which will be very important, the user guide. Feels like there's a disc in there as well. That could be problematic, being that I don't have a disk drive. And then under here, oh look, some fancy stickers come with it. It's nice. Thank you, purchase, for this product. The choice of champions. What the hell? So, awesome. Fancy stickers for the fans, for the case, whatever the case may be there. And some more cable management things underneath here. A couple cables, zip ties, some screws, fan. We'll get into that later potentially. For the SSD, the M.2 extender nuts, I guess you'd say, and the screws. A Vital door handle hanger. That's really why I bought it. and some more cabling and a bracket for, it looks like for an additional SSD, 2.5-inch SSD. So there we go with the motherboard and the options. The actual motherboard itself is in this contraption. There it is. I'll take it out of the bag here and show you what it looks like in a second. Alright, I moved a little closer to the camera here. We're going to carefully take this out of the anti-static bag. Careful where I grab this thing. Come in and show you closer up what it looks like. There you go. Pretty fancy. Couple M.2, one up here, one down here. That's the internal chipsets. A couple, I think they're PCI slots on there. The RAM here, obviously the processor. Could put another little fan here to cool the power units for that, for overclocking and things. Some fancy RGB or RBG or whatever color schemes over there. The sound here, the sound, what's it called? It's called yeah, Super something or effects. Anyway, look it up. So there we go. So I'm going to set this down so I don't break it. Kind of get some of this stuff out of the way. See what was in this thing. The hell? Gotta be smarter than the box, apparently. Which I'm obviously not. Wi-Fi, that's what was in there. Wi-Fi antenna. So there we go. Get our components here out of the way of the motherboard. The book would be important. Okay, so all the videos I watched online show that you should, number one, be careful with this. And number two, pre-assemble some of these things because it'll be easier than when it's in the box. So I'm going to get some other components ready and we're going to try to do that. All right, we're back. Real quick update. Again, I only have 2 of my 4 sticks of RAM, and I'm very impatient, so I'm going to go ahead and build this with the 2 and then add the 2 later. I don't know if that's right or wrong. Tell me in the comments, I guess. I don't know. But to configure it with 2, it says to use DIMM slot A2 and B2, which is the farthest one from the processor and then 2 over from that. And they should be labeled somewhere. Yeah, right there. So A2, B2. So that's what we'll do there. It's good that they put that in the book. All right, i7 9700K. I received my first one of these from Amazon, and the security seal was broken. So I sent it back. Didn't look like it had been tampered with, but someone took a lot of care to try to put the tape back on to make it look like nothing had happened. Here we go. So here's the processor. I want to be careful not to touch it. It's in a case right now so I can mess with it. But there you go, the i7 9700K processor. Again, Google it if you want more info. It is, I know how to read a box, and there you go, there it is. Fast, faster than what I got. So there we go with that. Get this out of the way. Show you my 970, I don't know if you can see that, 970 Evo NVMe M.2. There you go for that, 1 terabyte SSD. I probably have overkill on memory on this, but I don't know, I just went with what a couple friends had suggested. And then backed off of that for price. So there you go on that. This gets mounted right directly to the motherboard, which is nice. No cables, no power up, everything that comes right from the motherboard. So we'll go ahead and cut this seal. You can see this exciting unboxing. There you go, you probably can't really see it there, but okay. There we go. There it is right there. So we will, okay, I guess I'll go ahead and dump that out and put this away. Okay. So now comes, I guess, the part that is the most critical and probably most concerning to me. However, I have watched a lot of videos on this and have spoken to a lot of people that are smarter than me. And I think I can undertake putting in the processor and putting in the memory and the RAM. So let's give that a go. All right, so we got the motherboard here. We got our processor here. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn this thing around. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. So I can see what the heck I'm doing here. So right here, join the Republic. This is where the processor goes. That's the processor. Read some of that little detail on there. So, gotta take that up. Boom. I'm just gonna leave that protective cover on there, right? I'm just gonna lean that up there like that. Careful not to touch any of that. Careful not to touch any of this. They give you a couple finger slots right there and right here, right? To grab this. And there's a little triangle on the corner of that. See that little triangle right there? That little triangle matches up to that little triangle right there. See that? Right, well, there you go, right there. See that? So, I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to drop it in there. Don't jam it, don't press it, don't just wiggle it, make sure. There's also, notice, 2 slots. One right there, one right there. Here. One right there and one right here. That make sure it's lined up correctly. You close that case. Make sure that slides underneath the bolt, the little nut there. You crank this down. You carefully remove that, and there you go. Bam. In. How about that? Look at that. I'm not even shaking. Awesome. All right. Processor is in. We will be adding, at some point, this to that. for cooling. And that will go mounted up here on the top. Two 120 millimeter cooling fans. 240 millimeter total is how they do that. 3 won't fit, and I don't want to take the 3 off the front. So there you go for that. Bingo. Next, we're going to do this little deal. So we have the M.2 1 socket right there. See that? And we have the, let's get over there, M.2 2 socket. I'm assuming I can put it in either one, but we'll take a look in the book real quick to make sure. Okay, so here we are working on the SSD, and me being a simpleton, I don't know which slot to put it in. So I started reaching out to smarter people than me, and they don't seem to know either. This is what I have here, the NVMe, and I don't really see if it should go into slot 2 or slot 1, right? But I am going to open this one carefully, and in essence, see if it fits. I guess that's how it works. Oh boy. There we go. Okay, so pin configuration there. Pin configuration there. Right there. It looks like a match. So I am going to go ahead, slide that in. Bingo bango, push it down. Now the question is, I think the same screw goes back in there. We're going to carefully remove this heat shield adhesive or contact, whatever this is, without trying to ruin it. Difficult to do while holding a camera. All right. Let me set you down here real quick. See if I can get this. Screwed back in. Success. Success. Okay, there it is. It's under here. So that's what we're going to go with. That's what we're going to try. So CPU is in place. M.2 is in place. Next, we're going to put our 16 gig of RAM in to slot A2, B2. There's the RAM. fat belly to push that open. These are the two I'm going to use. We're going to click that in. There you go. It clicked. And we're going to do the same thing here. Line it up. Click that in. Okay. 16 gig of RAM in there. We will have, hopefully in the next day or two in the mail, the other two that go there. So it'll be a 32 gig RAM i7 9700K with a 1 terabyte SSD here, or NVMe, whatever you call it, 970 EVO. Yeah, there we have it so far. Okay. So, recap real quick. I don't know why that looks bent. Processor is in, SSD is in, 16 gig of RAM is in. I am now going to bring the case up, open it up, and see if I can put this thing in there. I don't know if I should be putting the cooler on. Maybe I'll actually attempt to put the cooler on outside of the case. So I think I've seen several videos where they recommend that. So we'll take a look at the cooler unit and see what that might entail. Again, most of these components, I shopped around for them. Ended up buying most of them on Amazon with Amazon Prime. Got some pretty good deals. The other thing to keep in mind is this video is going to suck. Yes, accept it. We'll see when I'm editing it up if you know, if it's worth putting on there, or if anything, maybe people will get a good laugh. Let's see what we got in here. Okay, there's the cooler. Some attachments and the fans. Okay. Fan. Dead bug. And the cooler head. And the, I don't know what you call it, the grill, the covered. This contact point is covered, which is excellent. I have to read to see if that comes pre-coated with something, or if I have to use a coating. Okay, there's a back plate with this that has to be put onto the motherboard. So obviously glad I did this out of the box, if you will. Mounting plate. Okay. I don't know what the hell just happened to my, there we go. Got some screws and some things. So this mounting plate actually is adjustable, and per the diagram for this version of motherboard, you can slide these. You can slide these like to the outside or to the inside, and I believe per the instructions, it is to the outside or the inside. We are going to pick up the motherboard, and you can see the holes that are already in place. And I think the instructions said if it doesn't fit, jam it in there. Fairly certain of that. Saw that in the video, I think. All right, so there you go. So you can see here real quick, it's probably gonna be upside down. You can see the, where's my finger? There's little screw holes coming up right there and there. This video is gonna be so terrible, but I'm gonna laugh at it, and so is Mike. So, step 1, done. Step 2, install the standoff screws. So for the 51, we want to use the shorter ones, the 115X. So the shorter ones. No. Damn it. Let's go look at the part list again. B, we want to use the longer ones. Okay. So we install the standoff screws, and they're the same length on both sides. So tighten firmly. I will probably be time-lapsing any of this, all of this anyway. I got a little sun over the weekend. Golf outing. Hero Salute golf outing in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Veterans, fire, first responders, police. All that jazz. Awesome job to the people who put that event on. Raise a lot of money every year. 4 courses. So 450 golfers or something like that. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so those screws are on. Install the fans and the radiator. So now we're gonna get a little bit into the kit. We got to put the fans in. I saw a little video on this on making it fit. So there may be a little trouble. These fans look pretty thin, but we may have a little trouble with the ram, with these getting in the way of the ram. So we're gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna take a pause here and see what we can do to figure this one out. Okay, I'm back. Did some reading, did some video watching, things like that. Let me fix this. So what I got here is the cooler unit. I've actually attached one of the fans already, and I'll attach the other one right now. It says for best results, have the fans attached as air intake. And so I'm just matching what the book has. I don't know if that's going to work right in my case or not. Air exhaust, air intake. That one I might need to get a little more advice on. But it does say attach your radiator and the fans as shown. For the best cooling performance, we recommend mounting the fans as an air intake to your PC, which then I'm going to assume I would want to take my 3 front fans that are installed in the case and make them exhaust, along with the rear one I'm going to put in. So in, out, out. Okay, I don't know. I'm putting them on like that. So, putting these on with the long screws that came with it. The video I just watched on installing this exact unit, they didn't use these fans that came with it. They used a different set of fans for the lighting. However, they put them on the same way I'm putting them on now. So there we go. After I get these installed, I believe what I'm going to do is install the motherboard. So I can actually make sure, this is a concern I had when I bought this case and I researched it a little bit, make sure these fans, when mounted up on the top, are going to clear my RAM. That may be an issue. I saw one of the solutions to that was to remove one of the fans. Kind of hope I don't have to do that, but we're gonna give it a go. So I have the fans mounted like so. They will be in the case like so, up like that, the cords in the back, and this will be coming down like so to my processor. Sound effects, years of practice, so don't try to compete with that. All right, there we go. We're gonna take a break from the cooler now, and we're gonna take a look at the case motherboard installation. Stand by as I get after that. All right, what we want to do now is carefully remove all these tempered glass panels. Number one, so we can access various components. Number two, to make the case a little lighter as we're moving it around and less fragile, if you will. These mounting screws that hold this on, they're either really cheap aluminum or plastic. I think there may be aluminum, but you probably want to be careful with these so you don't strip them. Probably should have took the bottom out first. All right, so this is the back. A little concerned on this box that I don't necessarily know how to get this out. Other than do that. So this is actually where my hard drive will go, my 3.5-inch HHD. What the hell that is. Okay, so we're going to continue to take these covers off. Again, I'll probably time lapse this. And the front. Okay, so as you can see on the case, it's got the fans pre-installed in the front. These are held on by a magnet, these filters. Held on by a magnet. held on by a magnet. Not too shabby. And in the back, underneath there for the power supply, you have another filter. So in here for the top and for the front fans. So it does look currently like these front fans are set up for intake. So I'll just have to figure that out. I'll just have to find someone smarter than me to advise me. By the time you guys see this, it won't matter. So appreciate your feedback if you have it. But where were you when I needed you? See what's in here. Some zip ties, some screws, some hardware. Excellent. Okay. Another interesting thing I want to show you on this case. Again, I don't know too much about this yet, but I do know that these are lighted, right? So RGB or whatever they call it. And this is a control unit for it. I watched a video where, here you go, you can kind of see the settings and things. There's also the same buttons up here. Where is it? Right there. This literally is just, I believe, just a color thing, and you have the ability to plug more fans. So I'm going to put one in the back here, one fan in the back, and I'll probably plug it in there. I bought the Corsair fan that was made for this unit, here to attach. So I'll be installing that at some point too. So we're going to want to install our motherboard. Oh, another thing I want to show you before we do that. So cable management, right? This case has a unit here. You take this screw off here and here. You can hide some of your cable management down in through here for the back anyway, to just keep it a little cleaner. We'll see how it all works. There's going to be some extra space up in here for your cables and things and excess. Here's where some SSDs could go. Here's where some hard drives would go. Some SSD 2.5s here. So you could have 2 here and 2 here, plus the 2 slots on the memory board or on the motherboard. So you could have a lot of memory in this thing. All right, we're gonna see if we can figure out how to mount this motherboard. And I'm kind of trying to figure out here if I want to read any instructions or if I just want to try to jam it in here. So I will probably look at the manual. I don't want to, but I never have done this before, so that's a lot of money. Snap your motherboard I/O shield into the cutout back here. Okay, so the motherboard is going to go just like it's laying on the table there. It's going to go in and down. My concern here is, what screws do I use? Motherboard and HDD screws. Motherboard standoff. It looks like there's standoffs already in there. There we go. That looks aligned correctly. Just sitting down correctly. And now I'm just going to take my cooler here and I'm going to just see carefully with that end. See if I'm going to have clearance here. Oh yeah. Yeah. Tight, but it'll work. Outstanding. The round-headed screws are for the motherboard. Now I saw in a video lots of people offering to start in the middle and then work around the outside of the motherboard floor, attaching the screws. Let's see if this will actually work. You obviously don't want to crank them down too much. Just get them snug, tight, whatever you want to call it. Cable management. I believe there should be 9, is what I've heard, 9 screws. This one doesn't want to go in, fellas, ladies, whoever. It's kind of concerning. There we go. A little crooked there, maybe tighten it a little too much. Okay. Okay, back from a little break there. What I'm going to do is close that door right there magically. And then I'm going to show you the motherboard mounted. So stand by. All right. So the motherboard is mounted. Let me get this. Light stick. So there's the motherboard mounted. There's a screw there, screw over there, a couple there, a locator pin right there. Everything is tightened but not over tightened. And most importantly, I hand placed my air cooler up in this area, and there is plenty of clearance right there. Well, not plenty, but clearance. So that's good. I'm fairly certain by watching videos that this cooler comes with some paste pre-applied, so I don't have to add any more. And since I watched a video from the manufacturer that said that, I'm going to go with that. And if something happens, it's on them because they said in the video it is good to go. So I should be able to install the air mount, the air fan now. So stand by. Okay, so one of the other things I did is I verified airflow. Okay, so these three fans that were pre-mounted, intake. Okay, they recommend in the book that this be set up for intake as well, but these are going to be outtake. These are going to be going out. A little arrow going to be going that way. Okay, so 3 in, 2 out here, 1 out there. So I'm going to hopefully have some pretty good airflow going through there. And now I'm going to install that. And I'm going to use some of these screws. And I will edit out this part of the video where I'm doing some housekeeping here and cleaning up some of these screws I didn't use. From the case, I got a whole lot of things over here from the case I didn't use. Probably use later. All right. All right, now I went back to mounting the exhaust fan. And I want to make sure all my wires and cables are in the back. And that this is going to be like that. So see if I can do this without breaking anything or hurting anyone. Okay, we probably want to be a little more gentle. And that'll probably be. Okay, so what I've done here is place this vent up on the top. I'm assuming you can move it around to different, kind of has to go in these slots. So I'm going to tighten these screws down and have that mounted. All right, let's take a look at what we did here. We have mounted the cooling fans up here on the top. All right, what I got going here, okay, is this is mounted up there and there's some clearance there and clearance there. We should be all good. I'll be able to get my RAM in. And now the cooler, actual cooler, gets installed here like that, like kind of like that. And technically, I'm ready to do that. So stand by. All right, we're going back to the cheat sheet. And under Intel, align the bracket and pump over the standoff screws as shown. Tighten the thumb screws until all 4 corners are firmly secured. tightening the thumb screws. Now these have screwdrivers on them. A screwdriver. Give them a little. Disappointed in those cables being all over, but we'll figure out where those go here in a second. All right, so cooler is in. Connect the power. Connect pump power cable to the available SATA power plug. SATA power. Okay, well, we'll figure that out. So that's in, installed, clearance, nothing's touching, nothing's rubbing. Good to go on that. Okay, so now we got to figure out how to plug everything in. I don't like these like that, but who am I to like anything about this? Probably gonna need our handy dandy notebook. Okay. So we're working on some cable management through this channel that they have built into the back. We'll get to this, some more of that later. Now we're gonna put the power supply in. Got a 1,000-watt power supply, 1000 FX, fully modular power supply from Seasonic. It's a Focus Plus Gold 80. Comes with the cheat codes. Whatever that is. Nice little bag. There that bad boy is. So you got the back there. You got the modular hookups. Fan on the bottom. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, so we might want to read the cheat codes. See where all this stuff goes. Cabling, very nice cabling, I must say. It's all wrapped, most of it. So I've got the motherboard in, the CPU in, the cooler in, the RAM that I currently have in, I need to put the graphics card in, and I need to put the power supply in, and I need to put this fan in. And it's getting late. Graphics card. All right, so what the hell? Been working hard on this computer. So I've got it kind of where I think as far as I can take it. I'm waiting on 2 more sticks of RAM. I'm gonna put it in there. You've seen photos of it, you've seen things. Get the RAM in there, then I gotta figure out how to get Windows 10 on there, and then we're gonna fire it up, and we are going to show you what it looks like. And hopefully yeah, hopefully I didn't destroy it. So we'll see. Stand by while we get after it.